play for height here.
And who's daring enough to go ahead and contest them? A lot of our heavy hitters are either weak or out of the lobby, so it could be free taking for them. Fortunately enough, there isn't a twin mag. We just had that suppressed Havoc AR. It could deal some fast damage, but it's not as fast as some would think. 148 above the damage threshold, and they have a far rotation to go, just like Thomas and Malibuca. But they are so healthy right now in terms of materials and in terms of resources.
And if you weigh their game versus Kanata's, they are doing far and beyond better. They have 4 eliminations. They're actually in the end game, and they have everything they need to succeed. That is what you want after you survive a drop. But let's look at Peterbot. Peterbot forced to play by himself. He's known for what he can do as a solo. He's one of the most capable players on NA, especially when it comes down to fighting. He needs to finish this here. He's already got the knock onto MK Papa, but no, he says, I have to play for myself here. Goes around the outskirts, reading this perfectly, but he is running low on material. There's another elimination. It falls through, so the points will be his. And he's on the hunt. He's like, where is that solo?
Yeah, he's just trying to figure out where he's going to get even more siphon. But it's not so much for the heals as it is the material, because he's running dry. Cammy, Seti, they don't got the high ground yet, but they're going around the outskirts, trying to bypass a lot of the teams, recycle some of those builds. And if you look at them, they're going towards the front side of the zone. With Thomas down, that leaves the pressure of Malibuca, of the entire duo, on his shoulders. But he's another one of those mechanically skilled players that sometimes when you lose your duo, that gives you freedom to go ahead and move around, make moves you wouldn't normally make if your duo was still alive.
Regarded as one of EU's greatest. On high ground, though, it's Axe Force. On low ground, it's Malibuca. It's Peterbot on the mid. Peterbot still up, looking for the fight, jumped into a box. He's playing spoiler. Was that Cammy there he takes out? Potentially in the exchange, in the full finish too. Peterbot has shut down Cammy's dream and hopes of making it far, but Seti is still up. Once again to left to clutch. Malibuca turns things around here, goes for height, even though he's by himself. What is happening right now?
We saw Axe Force by himself on height. Malibuca's taking a page out of that playbook, but he instantly drops down low into the mud, trying to go ahead and survive as a solo, and he gets to the front side of zone yet again. Now this is his chance to look back, but a whole different page. Also a less materials to work with. Peterbot is continuously on the hunt and finds a monster of a shot onto Acorn. Even though he's not going to get the spoils of all that he's done, at least there's another heavy hitter out.
But Cole wasn't happy with that. He tries to hunt him down. Peterbot is on a slither of HP. Barely anything. The siphon finally comes through, and now he's in a well-fighting position. Meanwhile, Malibuca still doing it. This is the game of solos right now, and there is just a single duo in here, potentially. It is Cooper and of course Miro there on the front, but Malibuca's got work cut out for him.
3 solos left in the game. One of them is going to be Malibuca, continuously dropping down low. He's letting all those players above him fight it out for him to try to survive, but Cooper and Miro are ready to end that run. They get into the box, and they send Malibuca back down to the lobby.
Cheating and Pixie at the high ground. It's a 2v2v2 now. Things will start to settle, but our solos have gone incredibly far. Miro, Cooper, try to do it again here, looking to make the redemption run. They got a hurt team in front of them. Off to the side they go. These are points that need to be earned. Cooper is earning his stripes, but Miro is here to back him up. He holds it down. The siphon comes in now. This is it.
This is a 2v1 situation. Pixie and Cheatin, they're trying to go ahead and go against them. That's Chari there as well. An all-solo endgame. Cheatin trying to join Polo and Sphinx as a team with multiple wins this weekend. Back-to-back shots. He's already been able to get one. Miro out for redemption in that last game, but he has no materials. Zone is taking him out until the final shot is in. There it goes. Pixie and Cheatin take the game.
And they do it in spectacular fashion from the high ground. Securing the dub, securing the win. What an excellent performance.
An excellent performance indeed. Let's see how they're feeling. Frankie, take it away.
We're seeing duos come back to prove that their victory royales were not a fluke in the past couple of days, and they're doing it again against the toughest competition. How does it feel to get yet another win?
It's feeling really great, bro. We are full stacked again like yesterday, and we just played it all again.
Do you think that these duos are letting you have it too easy?
Yeah, of course.
It's interesting because you guys were not a duo at the start of the year. You were with different partners. You had to find each other. Why do you think the two of you have come together and managed to dominate this LAN so far?
We're both really smart, good fighters. That's all we need.
Do you not need brains as well?
No.
We have enough brains.
You've got enough brains, but really you're all about the firepower. Listen, I want to give you the opportunity to talk to your fans right now. I know that you've got quite a few in the audience as well. Have you got anything you'd like to say to them?
Thanks for everyone supporting me.
And would you like to say that in Polish?
I don't know.
No? Okay. Would you like to say anything?
Thanks for my family who is watching right now and everyone who supports us.
Well, thank you, guys. Congratulations. Let's see if you can keep it up as we head back to the desk.
Big congratulations there. Cheatin and Pixie finding themselves yet another victory royale. This is now the second time today we've had a duo that already had a victory royale picks up another. But man, this all coming down to solos. That could have gone any which way for a moment there. For a moment, I was like, if this is Mrs. Miro, Jean's like, oh, my bad. Whoa, Zeke, don't get ahead of yourself there.
The games have been absolutely insane. I mean, obviously coming down to the 1-1, but throughout the end game, it felt like there were so many souls alive clutching up the points.
Yeah, these end games are manic so far. It's like it goes every which way, and then eventually one name or two names just start popping out of the place, and you start going, wait, can they win the game again? In this one, my eyes were sealed to Miro and Cooper. I really thought, okay, last game they couldn't quite do it. They're going to get their redemption now. 1v1 for Miro again, he couldn't quite do it, but you know, I'm sure there'll be more chances for him to redeem himself. Pixie and Cheatin, a team that, if you aren't familiar, right, these are very hard-working players. Like Frankie said, they didn't start the year playing with each other, but once they did get together, things have just been clicking for them.
You love to see it, and of course, if you're just tuning in, you've never seen Fortnite, or maybe you just don't know. Victory Royale, of course, even coming down to second place, if you don't get the Victory Royale, it's not that bad, right? A Victory Royale is worth 65 points. Coming second, third, still a massive amount of points as well. But again, congratulations, Pixie and Cheatin. There's so much that happened in just that game. It's like every time we tune in with another duo, they're either in shambles situations or they're pushing a team, they're busting out these crazy strategies, and it's not disappointed so far. Now, Viv, as we bring up these standings, take a look. Cooper and Miro, they're overtaking. They started with a little bit of a lead, and now they have just said, you know what? We're jumping out in front.
I mean, back-to-back second places at the Global Championships. Both of them by Miro, solo clutching to that point in time. And Levin, whilst we were watching that game, right, we were getting close to the end of it. You asked me a question. What was that question?
I said, are Cooper and Miro about to win Globals? It's looking like it. They're sitting up on the leaderboard looking comfy, 2 back-to-back second places. I mean, if they keep playing like this, we're going to get to game 4 and it might be a done deal.
The consistency. That's you're gonna hear us say that a lot today over the next 4 games. But man, if Miro and Cooper could keep this up, they very well could walk away champions. I did want to take a look more at the standings though. Let's highlight a few more duos up on this board.
I'm looking at Vico and Pink there in 3rd place. Yeah. I mean, with how their weekend's gone so far, I think a lot of people in here were obviously supporting Acorn and Cold after how well Acorn and Cold did in the upper bracket finals. I don't think many people would have expected Vico and Pink to be above them, let alone sitting in the top 3.
I mean, they have found some comfort on the stage. Cammy and Seti maybe feeling a little bit uncomfortable with a big switch up coming in today. Both games so far, they have been contested, but game number 2 was a little bit different here. They actually decided to go ahead and split their drop spot, but it didn't really end up mattering as they still made it into the end game. And honestly, it was the refresh during 9th zone that kept them alive for so long.
And the thing I was saying during that end game was it felt like vintage Cammy and Seti. None of this high ground nonsense we were seeing from them too much. I say high ground nonsense. They've been very good at it, don't get me wrong. But, you know, it felt good to see them in an element where they were a bit more comfortable. And, of course, again, another instance of Seti getting the job done.
Oh, of course, you know, they had to come into the higher ground meta, right? They had to kind of learn it, so they still have all of those other playstyles in their back pocket. Just makes them so good.
And what terrifies me the most, even after this kind of shambles game, they're in top 5. That's not where you want them to be. They're way too close to striking distance. But that's enough for right now. We have Kelly standing by on the stage right now with Lois.
That is right, Zeke. Fortnite veteran and Danish native Lois joining me here right now. I gotta ask, you've been competing in Fortnite for so long. What is it like to be here at the Global Championships in Denmark?
I mean, normally I sit here with the players, but
The fans have been absolutely incredible, especially the French ones, and I also hear some Polish ones over here, so big shout out to the fans.
I mean, it's been an incredible weekend so far, from the fans to the players. What has been your favorite moment out of the competition?
I mean, it was first day here, so I mean, the fans is probably the most important thing here, and I also like the game 1 ending with Miro almost clutching up as a solo, but yeah.
Well, then he almost did it again in game number 2. So with that being said, I gotta ask you, who is your favorite to win?
I think right now, I think Miro is gonna win, but I obviously hope for my Danish boys, Thomas HD and Steno and Lucio.
Flois, this just means so much to me to be able to talk with you. I've been watching you play for so long. And what is it like to watch just all 50 duos here competing on this stage?
I mean, it's absolutely insane. Like everyone from the other regions, I normally only play in EU, so to see people like Asia region, Middle East, and also shout out to the one OC duo, Alex and Boyafi.
Thank you so much, Flois, and I can't wait to watch the rest of the games with you, but we're gonna be heading back to the desk for now.
Thank you so much, Kelly. Fortnite fans, if y'all are up in here, please go say what's up to Flois. He's absolutely amazing, super wholesome. But, as much as I want to talk more about what happened in game number 2, getting word game number 3 is ready. We're getting closer and closer to the halfway mark, so don't miss out. DJ Producer, 2 friends will be here for the halftime show right after this next game. So let's get on into this next one. Casters.
You know what they say, time flies when you're having fun. We're already into game 3 in just a few short moments, and it's been an impressive performance so far by both Cooper and Miro.
I must say, man, if Miro doesn't, illusion that we've seen come out of him so far has been incredible. Let's do it one more time. Game 3. Game 3 of the Grand Finals is here. It is time to see how this one's gonna play out already. We already know that 14 players have fallen both games back-to-back in these early moments. That means 7 duos have it out for one another.
This is the moments here that kind of make yourself one of the best in the world. This is the last game before that halfway point. You gotta get as high up on the leaderboard as possible. You don't want to leave it to those final moments. But you know what it is from games 1 to 3. Kanata and Agers, Thomas and Malabuka yet again. You even see shots coming in, but Kanata takes damage.
Oh.
Thomas is already half health, and the fight has barely just begun. Kanata gets the first strike. Thomas goes down. Malabuka by himself. He's on the chase for Agers. Agers doesn't look like he has a weapon. It's all up to Kanata, and he strikes while the iron's hot.
2 for 1, back and forth. Kanata, Agers have an opportunity now to potentially run away with it. The problem that they have, though, is how far can they take it when the chance is in front of them?
Uh-oh, I already see Baka that's down. Giannis and Reason, they go for that 50-50 at the top of the tower. Pars, he hasn't even been able to launch pad over, and that's not going to be an option. They both got ARs and SMGs to go ahead and take them down if they try to make that a part of their game plan. Now it's all about the hunt. They even get a shield briefcase. Uh-oh, this is a very, very daring play. Pars just go ahead and bulldoze his way through. He's trying to make magic happen. Shots on the both these players. Pars almost does it. Takes down Reason, but Giannis saves the day.
So close, and he seals the deal in the final moments. You wouldn't think it would be possible, but he does do it. Here's Chicho, here's Trulex. They have TK nearby. TK had that explosive entrance coming out, of course, that lower bracket. They managed to turn online, and already they have taken down his teammate. Unfortunate for TK now. He's going to have to figure this one out, play this one as a solo for now. Meanwhile, Muzz and Paper getting active here.
Ready to battle it out. They changed up their drop spot. Normally going over towards Breakwater Bay. They qualified to the FNCS Global Championship. They qualified to the Grand Finals over towards Breakwater Bay, but sometimes you got to be adaptable in the bush, trying to go for a hide-and-seek style play. Paper getting taken down low. Muzz there with the bait and switch to try to go ahead and save the day, but they got to be careful. Nisha and Tini yet again, all around the map, all around the world. They're ready to take that top spot.
Misha and Tina might be the most flexible duo in this lobby right now, and they are showing how it can be effective even while you try new strategy. But no, Bryce comes in. He's got his attention to put on the matter. Where is Chubbs here? Will he back him up? Misha now has to back out of here. We have spoken too soon. Paper will get the final finish, but Bryce got the knock, so the rewarded points will go to them.
Invitations were sent out to everybody this weekend. You can join the party if you want to. If you want to take that chance, but Paper and Muzz get taken down. They get cleaned up by Bryce and Chubbs, who already have 4 eliminations so far. Impressive way to start game 3.
What a great spot to be in right now for Bryce and Chubbs. Bryce and Chubbs, the lower bracket duo that definitely performed, I would say, above average, finishing up towards that top 3 by the end of the day, putting themselves in the conversation. Upper bracket day, they were contested. They had a bit of a difficult time up in the north side, but right now could be their chance to turn things around. 4 eliminations, what a way to start the game.
And you know, our first 2 games were decided by teams who already have a victory royale throughout the weekend. Bryce and Chubbs have one as well, so that trend could continue. As TK goes down to Chicho, he gets cleaned up, probably trying to go for Quanti's reboot card. So they're going to be out of this game early on. But Cooper and Miro, I like this. They go ahead and get it uncontested. They loot up. They kind of switch to figure out who's going to go for the early surge, who's going to go down into that vault and try to clean up all that loot.
Jumping over to Batman Booga, Rapid. We've seen so far having to play solo a fair amount, losing Batman Booga a little earlier than he would have liked the last round or so. But this drop spot, man, Mega City, obviously highly contested, plenty of action to unfold here. And then if you just peer off to the outside, you have teams like Acorn and Cold constantly hovering around, so you never really are safe inside this big city. We jump over with Kanata. David says Kanata already starting to look up and over. Getting a little dangerous here.
And you can see his streak. He's the only player in the world to go for 20 for 20, reaching a grand finals. He won his first one in the FNCS Major 3. He's looking to go back-to-back in some ways and take this global championship by storm, but this game needs to count.
Wait, let's just say that one more time. Kanata is the only person in the world to have made every single FNCS Grand Finals and also perform extremely well. His top 10 performances, by the way, you can hold a candle to it. It'll stand strong, but Kylie is going to fall here to Fastroki. Oh, to the hands of Datus and Steen. So from the Frenzy Farms, they come south and they influence Kylie and Fastroki with the quick finish.
That's huge. This team has been slowly but surely upping up their firepower game after game throughout the weekend. It's only a matter of time before they hit their final form. But Reet and Ritual, they've been out of this world so far, consistently performing at the top level. Not only online, though, they brought that skill here to the big stage. And see if they can keep it up, but they're close by, neck and neck with both Edgy and Duke. I think a lot of these teams know the risk of taking an early game fight. And so Edgy and Duke just continue on with their rotation. They're trying to not take too many risks early on. We'll save those for the late game.
Now we tune in one of the most seasoned here. Tayson setting up what could be a potential ambush alongside Mustache. They have the side angles, they have the information. A 3-2-1 is all it takes, and Kaizen is caught out. And that is what a professional duo would do to you. A moment is all it takes. If it were me, if it were you, it'd take forever to line up those shots, but they make it look so easy, so quick, so deadly.
It was more than just a 2-player 3-2-1. Threats and Booga on the other side, who actually were the ones able to steal that one away. If I thought 2 players were hard to survive, 4 players is literally impossible. I feel bad for Kaizen, but luckily for him, his teammate is still left alive. You see him floating around in the mini-map, ready to kind of make an attempt at that reboot card. Fighting alone is not something anybody wants to do, even if they're separated like this. Cammy and Seti going for that forecast tower, which is a huge part of their game plan.
But not only that, they just took down MK Papa. Ooh. So Shalom is by himself up in this box right here. Cammy making a move for it, potentially thinking if he can go in to seal this. No, they're just going to move along here. In the meanwhile, we should look at how this happened. Take a look. Scoped weapons in hand. MK Papa slides across. Oh, they were trying to get that forecast tower themselves. No, caught out in the open. And they get burned.
It's just one of those things, man. You don't necessarily plan for another team to just be hiding in bushes all around, but I feel like that's one of the most simple strategies you'd see some of these teams do, but it's honestly the small things that you tend to forget on the biggest stage. We talk about rotations. Queasy and Vino moving on over toward the west before they're going north towards Frenzy Fields to try to find their spot in towards the zone. They're easily one of the teams that can pick up multiple VRs throughout the day and kind of make up for lost time, boost up that leaderboard. But Vaniac and Karmi are going against their EU counterparts. I drop a Mappy on the other side. Getting denied piece control a few times. A quick peek view opportunity coming out from iDrop. He gets denied yet again. All of that real estate going over to Vaniac.
Feel a little deja vu here. Kanye down to the low ground. Vaniac cannot quite find the shot there. iDrop playing off the heels, backing up by himself. The last time we were in this situation, it was Sensei and company on the hunt. This time it is Karmi. Will they close it a little faster? I wonder. They are drawing the attention of teams nearby. Should wrap this up quickly. Back he goes. Not many other options for him left here now.
That's, I feel like, what iDrop best case scenario. Let another team come in this direction. Start to fight off both Vaniac and Karmi. That way he can try to slither his way out, but no opportunities are coming. A big shot fires through, running out of resources. iDrop has to think outside of the box and get out of it as well. Multiple angles as Karmi finally goes in and finishes the job. Letting nothing go through. It's a huge way for them to kind of start their own game.
Tayson and Merstash, the quick elimination there onto Waves Vidil. Unfortunately, Mr. Savage now has to back out of this drop here. Mr. Savage and Vidil have been staying late into Slappy Shores, but I don't think they expected Merstash and Tayson to still be here playing their drop. Let's take a look at that one more time. Merstash swings around the top. They're already hurt. Into the box he goes. Vidil wasn't quick enough to defend himself there, and it was a very clean pickup. Meanwhile, Pink and Vico move right past Karmi there. Vaniac. Pink and Vico inside the top 5, chilling around 4th place at the moment. What a different story compared to the upper bracket, also taking their learnings out of the lower bracket into today.
Yep, and that's one thing I feel like for some of these players, you know, Vico probably one of the more mechanically skilled and gifted players on the EU region. Pink, one of the best IGLs. Sometimes it just takes a day to warm up. You know, you got the jitters, you got the nerves, different setup, different desk heights, different chairs, and sometimes you have to go through the ringer against a team like Acorn and Cold before you go ahead and say enough is enough. You start to go ahead and play to your full potential, and that's why you see him at the top side of the leaderboards. Stacey and Podesai, they're kind of making a very, very similar rotation that they have in Games Pass, going on over towards the Creaky compound, just boxing up. They're, I wouldn't say slap dab in the center of zone, but they're as close as they can be at the current moment, using a lot of those berries and just trying to see who rotates nearby. They just don't have a good line of sight over the lobby as of now, so that's why you see them rotating to try to get a better position, because information is critical in lobbies like this.
So many trees as well really hides how much danger is lurking nearby. Take a look at all the duos as we pan out here, including Cooper and Nero just nearby. Meanwhile, to the south, Cammy and Seti, of course, wrapping things up at the Frenzy Fields. Still danger nearby, though, so you always have to be careful. With that, let's get a word from Minnie.
Thank you so much, Monster. Now, let's take a little look at Cammy and Seti's off-spawn situation. We know it's a little bit dicey for them at the moment, but in this particular game, they have managed to take control of that main Frenzy building. Of course, that gives them access to the north side of the map. And of course, what is there lurking at the north side of the map? It's the forecast tower. If you don't know, that gives them access to know when the next zone is going to be and where it is going to be positioned. So, of course, that's absolutely vital information for them. We can see them taking out another player here as well, and thankfully for them, they actually get access to this forecast tower. Hopefully for them, it'll be a good game like game number 1.
Thank you so much for the pivotal information, Minnie. My zero build carry, I should say, when me, Vivid, and Zeke all squad up. And it's just very, very sure that we keep our eyes on both Cammy and Seti. They're one of 3 teams in this lobby that will have the awareness of where that zone's going to go thanks to that forecast tower. And if you're one of those teams that may have seen them, may know that it's a chance for Cammy and Seti, you might want to try to follow them around without getting targeted. But Rift Island, you know how competitive this has been. And now Mshari and Rue are going to be one of the first teams going up to it. And that's been the trend throughout the first games. If you make it to the island first, you more than likely capture it and get those 15 points.
Really have to. It's a way to turn the game around for you right here. And honestly, Mshari and Rue kind of needed this. They've been struggling here. They've had a couple moments, so this will surely put them right back up toward that top 15 bracket now. Potentially even edging their way to top 10, as this island is worth 15 points. If you can secure it in time. We jump on over to Duke though for a moment here. Edgy is hurt and hasn't quite recovered just yet. I wonder what's happening. As he's getting pushed by Chubbs and Bryce. A little too much happening down low. Duke comes to the rescue though. Great tags there, and finally Edgy gets his heels off, puts him right back into the game. He was waiting for those mushrooms to pop back in there.
كلهم عنده بيكاكس ليفل 16 بيتل 2 ليفل 16 بيتل 3
But it's about using your brain, using your smarts, using a lot of the strategies that even got you to this point, and then very many more tricks up your sleeve to keep that train rolling. Ari and Geras, 531 damage above the threshold. You see them currently positioned at 12th place on the leaderboard. And this being the last game before the half, I feel like it's pivotal for a team where they're positioned, if they want to be in the conversation and not force themselves to have massive games, to do well here in this third game.
Looking at that top 10. Now into the top 15. Look at how close it is. Points barely separating one another. Mr. Savage finds himself in a little fight. Some action here. Fnajian, what an incredible shot. How do you hit that before he even can realize? And now Vidil has to clutch up here. Vidil cannot allow him to wait this one out. And by the way, they need this damage. They actually have to force these fights here. So should he save up, should he clutch up here, it'll be okay. You know, Fnajian wants to turn things around and get the full finish. So Vidil does have to be careful.
Ooh, even third-party shots coming.
Oh, he saves him just in time.
Outside of the zone and inside as well. The breacher for Fnajian is going to be the huge moneymaker here, but a nice shot from Vidil trying to make up for him going down early on. And he turns, he burns. Fnajian says, "You are out of the lobby."
Oh
my gosh. That was the grossest shot of the day by far. Watch it one more time. Look at how quick this was. You think it was over here, but he hits it just in time.
هذه اللقطة شوف.
Didn't even let him
my God.
Pop the slurp juice. He didn't even give him enough time to heal. He just went in trying to finish it off. But those are the risks you take. When you get rebooted, you're forced to get surge yet again. That's exactly what happens when you can't control your own destiny.
هذا ما يحل في الجزيرة.
An actual contested fight for this Rift Island. It's the game before the half, like I keep saying, so a lot of these teams realize how valuable these points actually are. But these teams, if they don't have enough heals, you can only stay up here for so long. You see the zone is pulling away from Rift Island, so it might be one of those teams that have the heals now that are willing to expend it.
It makes sense that Bask and Hen are here, as this is a part of their strategy. Secure these drops, secure the Rift Island, get these other points, these extra points. There's a lot of different ways to secure the lead. Datus and Stain are also here again too, constantly finding themselves in the vicinity. So far, so good. Gripey and Flixie are alive. Kanata and Agers are just nearby as well, so trying to make do, trying to make the best of this game.
57 above the damage threshold. It's just enough. It's just enough for some of these teams to rotate in, trying to go for a sneaky sniper shot. Narrowly misses that one. Probably saw the glint coming off of it as soon as he scoped in, allowing him to kind of watch out. You see, they don't want to go all the way to the side of that mountain. They want to keep some elevation just in case it does pull in this direction. You don't want to have to battle back.
Source may have found an important elimination on this Seti, so you may know where the zone is. But it doesn't mean you're absolutely safe. Cammy turns that story around, potentially finding his elimination, putting up just enough defense, but for how long? Now Cammy has to play this out by himself.
Yeah, I don't know how possible it is going to be, but if he does have that reboot card and he holds his position, he's not too far off from that reboot ban as well, but it is going to be out of zone. It is going to cause a lot of attention in your direction, but the possibilities are endless. We've seen things like that happen before in the past. He's just trying to figure out how he's going to survive this moment. Forget about those later plans, but for now, I think it's going to be go for that rocket ram. Forget the reboot, forget all the loot, and even that team I was fighting. Let's just go ahead and go in towards zone, and you can see it's the least congested side as of now. Nobody's really begun their rotate from across the water.
What's crazy about this as well is Cammy was considering taking more mobility in crash pads, but because he was spooked out of his spot, he actually couldn't even secure it. He couldn't change his loot up. He had to just leave. So this isn't even the most ideal situation for him as of right now, as he was fumbling through his builds. But Cooper Miro, the problem children of NA right here, setting up shop. Forget that. The problem children of the Globals right now. They are second and second back-to-back. This is by far the toughest game for them, as they don't have much of a material count to play with, and they've been found out.
This is big, because if Miro and Cooper end up with the top finish yet again, they're 39 points ahead of the next best player in team right now. Placement points have not even begun to set in, so if they can continue that trend, they will be the team to beat in the second half.
This is kind of crazy, though. Take a look at how this situation is playing out. There's not a soul on this side of the map. Very rarely this late in the game will you even have a chance to farm loot so casually in a competitive lobby. And things might have just aligned for Cooper and Miro. We could be seeing Destiny line up.
If they somehow win this game, get a top 5, you have to rewind the tape and think of that moment right there.
That one.
Chance to breathe and stabilize, refarm up, just like you're saying. It is going to be huge, but there's even teams rotating nearby in their direction. But from outside of the zone to the inside of the zone, Pink and Vico, they're waiting for them to go down, because they're one of the teams that is at the top side of that leaderboard as of now, waiting to take away that spot. And honestly, consistency is key, and they've been one of the most powerhouse teams on the weekend, if you minus day one, of course.
Well, if you look at that top 10, there was definitely room at the top, as 4 teams have fallen just beyond 5th. Peterbot has a chance. Byla has a chance. They're just right there. This game already 2 eliminations, put them inside the top 10. That solo run from Peterbot in game number 2 was incredible.
This is exactly what we came to see and came to know out of Peterbot overall. The Invitational played with somebody who isn't Byla, and I feel like that's the thing. It's business for them. Every time they go and try to do it with someone else, the results aren't necessarily there, but every time they reunite, they impress everybody watching, and they're looking to do that once more here.
It's not a better way to make $1 million over a weekend.
True.
To be the best. That's gonna be something to celebrate, but no celebrations here for Miro and Cooper. Not looking good right now. Just a couple builds here. They're gonna have to force the agenda, force the fight. They find one on the other side. This might be the best team to do it as well. We already knew Geras was hurt. Cooper jumps into the box, he goes for it, puts it all on the line, doesn't quite find it, and Miro's here to back him up, and the finish comes in. The refresh was massive, and they're right back in the game, but do they have heals? Did Cooper find anything there?
It's the little details that matter, because now that he has materials on the side of Miro, of course.
Another one.
And able to heal on up. Oh, there goes his teammate as well. Geras goes down.
Wow.
And now they're both looted and booted, ready to go ahead and continue their run. Their point lead is just growing larger and larger through most of the game. See Pixie and Cheating up on that leaderboard as well. Cammy and Seti still finding a way to stay alive. Then, of course, Pink and Vico.
Well, after the material split, there's still going to be a fight in front of them. They're not stopping there. They are literally continuing, but on the other side, Cammy is still a solo. He is still playing this one out, where once he was going high ground game after game, this round here, he just has to do what he can to survive the gauntlet. Top 25 is here now. Placement points have been earned. That alone is something to celebrate, but Cammy's here to put up more. He needs more.
Rocket Ram able to get himself from one side to the next. And since he's so far below the damage threshold when it comes to Storm Surge, he immediately goes to work, looking towards the backside of zone. Mixon's going to be the first one in his line of sights, but finds no success, able to shoot through. Pink goes down in the feed. That's Miro yet again, out of nowhere, trying to come back. But Cammy's not really finding any success when it comes to Storm Surge. Eventually, he's going to have to just get into one of these boxes.
This is really starting to heat up here. We get to look at that one more time. Don't forget, the reason they were hurt was because Pink was looking at him from before, and they finished him just like that. And another refresh. But more importantly, it's more points, and that's a top 5 team. Pink and Vico have been truly heating up here today. But Miro and Cooper are just the unstoppable force at the moment in this lobby.
Now they've made it to the point of the game where you're getting placement points for every team that goes down. And this is where Cooper and Miro really do shine the best. In these end games, being able to be a little bit more aggressive and take those risks. Peterbot and Bai like to say the same thing about them. They were in the situation that Cooper and Miro were in not too long ago. They have to take a page out of their playbook, but that's Kanata and Agers over on the other side. See Peterbot trying to take the space, but finally moves back, reunites. He hears a lot of teams crashing in, and he doesn't want any part of any of that.
Violet and Peterbot still on the move right now. Meanwhile, Peterbot is finding more and more. He gets the finish, but there's duos down low. It's not safe by any means. Starting to run thin on material. Plenty of teams down low. He's got to get out. That's Duke. He takes down, so fragmenting a team there. While Iamzo finds Edgy, high ground, unsure. Cooper by himself now as Miro's fallen to the hands of Vico. And they are on a run right now. The point lead is insane. And as teams fall, they are doing more and more. A team falls right in front of Cooper. Cooper's got to be careful. That was a close one.
That was a close call, but Miro just trying to go for the mats. He needs those resources. Wasn't able to really grab much. Queasy's still alive as well. Talked about a big game needed to keep them within contention so they don't leave it up to the last moments. Quickly redeploys on over to the other side and goes for the shot, but narrowly misses his opponent. He's able to escape, and we're quickly into the top 15.
Chubbs and Bryce are online right now. 7 eliminations and almost the top 10. Chubbs and Bryce may be one of the most impressive duos to pop out of NA right now. And they have the experience, but this is the first time they're in an in-person arena with a crowd this big. With this much on the line, and so is Cooper.
No way.
And he is still going. This could be the miracle run for Cooper.
Already you're seeing the point spread. It's only them and Pixie and Cheatin at the top of that leaderboard, and 40+ points already separating them thanks to that elimination they've been picking up, but they're on the high ground. They could be the first team to try to get 3 VRs on the day. They already have 5 eliminations, more mats than they know what to do with. Another elimination almost grabbed up by Cooper, and this is a chance for both Pixie and Cheatin to try to pick up the points. A 2v1 situation. They got their 7 eliminations, and it's Carmy who's already outside of the zone, and he doesn't even survive a chance to fight the 1v2. Pixie and Cheatin take their 3rd victory royale of the weekend.
It's not a back-to-back for Pixie and Cheatin.
Yeah.
Are they just on fire right now?
I want to repeat what our casters just said. Are you on fire right now?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you're a man of few words, but you do have some Swedish words for the audience right now. Would you like to say anything to everyone who's supporting you?
Tack för alla som supportar mig.
There we go, nice and simple. Thank you, everyone who said in Swedish. So tell me about that end game then.
Yeah, full stacked again and just play it out. Like, we had so many mats and stuff, and we just full tapped to the end game. We looked at high, and then we looked up, and it was free, and we take it.
So do you think the key to your fantastic end games is actually you're having great early starts as well?
Yes, we get like good surge, good mats, and just get into end game.
And what's the secret to this? Have you spent a long time preparing your game plan, or is this just in the moment when you sit down, you just know what you want to do?
We have prepared a lot of strats, and then we just play from there.
And who is responsible for those game-winning strats?
We both. We just both looking for strats together, and then just yeah, looking for our game plan, and yeah, and then we just play our end game game plan in the finals.
Well, the target on your backs, boys, is growing ever larger, but hopefully you can hold off the competition. I'm going to let you go and get ready for game number 4, but right now, everyone, Pixie and Cheating!
Bro,
No shot. No shot. There's two stories we're going to highlight. We'll start with the easy one. Pixie and Cheatin, the back-to-back. Guys, understand, this is a globals stage. This is it. This is the peak level of competition. And Pixie and Cheatin say, Victory out? Nah, let's give you two.
Pixie and Cheatin have to be on top of the road, and look at this. It's all about the backside of the moving zones. They find out where the high ground is weakest. They go ahead and spray it out, and then they build up. And how they have so many materials going into this endgame. Look at their eliminations before they just start to farm them from the high ground, right? They're just finding refreshes as they go along. And to end the game with 8 eliminations and a back-to-back win, Levin, like, what?
Unbelievable stuff. Unbelievable stuff. They literally came through and said the win was so nice, we had to do it twice. I can't believe what I'm saying. Like, you're getting to that endgame and I keep seeing Cheatin and Pixie's names in the feed. I'm thinking, wait, these guys are still up. I've seen all these titans in the lobby falling, just able to keep up. But these guys look so strong all the way until the end. I mean, even with that being said, Zeke, they still won in first place.
That is the second storyline. Cooper and Miro. These guys are gods. I don't even know what I'm watching. Obviously, Pixie and Cheatin are kind of like, right now they have the spotlight on them, which gives Cooper and Miro the opportunity to say, okay, spotlight's off us. Let's operate in the shadows. Let's make some plays. Dude, but the solo clutch as well.
Zeke, before the solo clutch, though, we had an incredible clutch as they do. I mean, they were on the west side of the zone. They were trying to farm out. They had 0 builds. And me and Levin, we were... And them, right? They're going to fall out of first place. And then somehow they just find a double refresh. And then they take out the team that was following them in that second place. Pink, like the refreshes just kept flying in.
I mean, when your back is against the wall, to do what these guys are doing, forcing their way into the box, and forcing the elims, I mean, it's craziness. And then Cooper at the end there, really a man just possessed right now. The shots onto Rapid and just surviving, outlasting all of these opponents. It was ridiculous.
Miro went down 25th, right? There was 25 teams alive when Miro went down. Cooper just went down in top 5. He solo clutched for that long.
Which is kind of crazy to me because a lot of times when we talk about this duel, we tend to focus a little more on Miro's side, right? Kind of a little more decorated, a little more experienced. But Cooper's like, whoa, why am I getting disrespected right now?
I mean, unbelievable player, right? He was given the chance by Miro to compete, and he has not looked back since. Every opportunity he's taken.
Flip the coin. If anybody has seen that on the timeline, basically how this duo ended up forming. Miro was like, hey, Cooper, flip a coin, and if it's what you guess, whatever it was, I think it was heads, we'll duo. And it ended up being correct, so they formed a duo, and now here they are on the global stage in first place after 3 games.
Best coin flip of his life.
Just insane. Okay, so really quickly, I want to talk about more of the standings overall. I did kind of just want to double back to Cooper Miro there. I'm sorry, Cheatin and Pixie, rather, in second place. So they've not been able to overtake Cooper and Miro. And they're kind of, you know, gentlemen of very few words. I was kind of curious if you guys had insight as to how they are just going wild right now. How are they making this happen?
I mean, for me, it looks like it's the high ground play, right? Like somehow, you know, we talked about it coming into the day. We expected a couple of teams to be battling out up there, specifically Queasy and Veno and Cammy and Seti. But honestly, we haven't really seen either of those duos in a healthy enough position to go ahead and contend for it. So it's kind of left that area of the end game open arms for Pixie and Cheatin.
Yeah, and I think you can see from the interviews, they're not really letting the moment get to them. It's like they're playing at home, chilling, playing some scrims or something, right? It seems to be very low pressure right now. And for a team who isn't as experienced in these kind of moments, that's very alarming almost, right? You don't expect to see that. You expect the players to be shaking and wobbling over their words like, oh my goodness, we're on the stage and we're winning games. What's going on? No, these guys are cool, calm, and collected.
Absolutely. You talk about another duo that's cool, calm, collected. Vico and Pink in third place right now, halfway through the competition. Guess what? Frankie, she's standing by with Vico right now. So let's hear from him.
I am, and Vico, I think this is the least nervous I've ever seen you. Why are you so calm right now?
Well, it's 3 games in, and well, there's nothing to really win right now, so nothing to lose. So it's just like there's nothing really that we need to like have pressure about, because no one really thinks that we're gonna win or anything. So
I think you've got a good chance. You're in third place at the moment, and right now, The drop spot feels quite safe for you because Cold and Acorn, they're not trying to grief you, they're not trying to 50-50, they're actually just giving you space.
Yeah, they're just giving us space. Like, we're giving them space, they're giving us space, because there's not really a reason why we would fight, because it's just going to get delayed, and if we both play our end games, like me and Acorn, and like we're just both going to do good.
Who do you think has the stronger end game out of the two duos?
Probably me and Pink.
And why is that?
Because we practice a lot. Like, in these last 3 months that we have played together, we've practiced like almost every day, or like almost every second day, so we have a lot of prac in between us. So
I just saw your coach Bloodex walking past as well. He told me, I haven't had to teach this guy anything, but there must be a reason you're working with him. So what's he brought to your duo?
Basically everything. Like, he's teaching me how to actually understand the game and actually play the game. Like, there's a lot of stuff that I didn't know before having coaching from Bloodex. So
what has he really taught you about playing the game then? What does it mean to play Fortnite?
Well, there's like stuff like you need to understand like how to play mid games actually, and like look for surge and all that stuff, and that's like something that Bloodex is really good at. And yeah,
it's one of the things that's ever changing about Fortnite. Given that you are in this third spot, you can go either way now. You can go up, obviously you can go down, and you can go all the way to that trophy. What are you feeling right now in terms of your chances? Do you already see yourself lifting that trophy on that stage?
Well, I don't see myself lifting it right now because there's a huge point difference between first and third place. But these next 2 games, they just show everything. Like, Mero and Cooper can choke as well as like second place. I think second place is Pixie and Cheatin. They can also choke. It all depends on these next 3 games because a lot of people will get nervous.
Exactly, and yesterday you did get a victory royale where you scored, I believe, over 100 points. So it might be 100 points separating you from the top, but I know that you can pull off a big game. So Vico, thank you so much for talking to me. Good luck to you and Pink, and let's head back to the desk.
Can I just say, I don't know where he is in here, but Bloodex is the biggest liar there is. For him to say, I've not had to teach Vico anything, I've been there. He's had to teach Vico a lot, like Vico just said. And my, oh my, we're grateful he has, right? Because look how Vico's playing, look how he's improved. It hasn't always been the smoothest, it hasn't always been the easiest of rides for that duo to get to where they are now, but it's the perfect time for them to be teaching.
Absolutely. I mean, and I think too, him being able to kind of take that step back and humbly say, look, I still need to get sharpened, right? I still need to focus myself. That's how you improve. If you're just assuming I'm at the top, I can't do anything, I'm the very best, you'll never actually improve. Now, we kind of talk about the standings, a couple in the top 3. Let's talk about the duo in 4th, Seti and Cammy. Again, I'm just terrified, man. I feel like this happens all the time. Cammy and Seti, though, they might have this like, they haven't quite made it up in the standings. They haven't got a victory on, not even a top 5, whatever. And then they end in 1st place, right? From this position. And we're only halfway through. In 3 games, they can make it happen.
So far, for me, Cammy and Seti's performance has been about hanging on, right? Giving them actually a chance to go ahead and hoist the trophy at the end of the day. Because so far, as I was talking to Levin about while we were watching that game, we really haven't seen a good game from them yet, a solid one. Usually this duo is very, very tight-knit in the sense that they are both alive late into these end games, but we have just seen solo clutch performances, which, by the way, is very, very rare for this duo, to just hold on to that 4th place, which is why that 4th place, to me, is so impressive.
Yeah, no, I want to really emphasize that, because you're spot on there. They have not had a good game by Cammy and Seti standards.
Yeah.
Like, the best is still yet to come from these guys, and the fact that they're in 4th, and you could argue their performance hasn't been anything amazing by their standards, just says everything you need to know about this duo.
You know, and we're talking about it a lot, right? Obviously, of course, right now we are on a break, so there is some time to maybe sit back and actually talk with each other, kind of figure out what's going wrong. So maybe this is the reset that they need.
I think so, right? I think all throughout the year when they face hurdles, even at times when it maybe looked like maybe this duo would split up and things weren't going to work out for them and it was going to be the end of Cammy and Seti, they've been able to work things out. They've been able to get together, get on the same page, and it's paid off every single time.
Absolutely. We saw 3 games, right? Anything can happen. They just need one insane game and they could suddenly overtake that #1 spot. There's a point differential, but we can't focus on that, right? We have to focus on the job we have to do. As we turn our attention back over to the standings, let's just take a look here as well. I'd love to highlight Carmy and Banyak. They're in 5th place, up 22 places. Again, it takes one good game, and then suddenly we just shift the entire league.
You know what's impressive to me is that I'm looking at the objectives, right? None of the teams right now in the top 10 seem to have secured Rift Island a single time. So I kind of wonder what's going on with that. Maybe it's actually kind of hurting some of these teams for whatever reason. But I mean, listen, that lead by Cooper and Mira. You know what's very, very interesting about Mira? Of course, he does have 5 FNCS titles under his belt. Did you know that in 4 of those titles, he didn't actually win a game? So those back-to-back second places are just very much so his style.
So basically you're saying, we got to just wrap it up now. It's over. Like, if he's winning games now it's just over. We might as well just pack it up, we'll go home.
There we go. I'm going to stay. I want to stay. I want to see this halftime show coming up shortly from DJ Producer. 2 friends. We'll get there momentarily. But yeah, I mean, with halfway through, now it is more important and more critical than ever. We can't be slipping, right? We have to keep moving forward. We have to kind of shore up these mistakes as quickly as possible because there's a championship trophy waiting.
You know, why don't we reference some of the other in-person events that we have had, right? We had Invitational. Now, of course, that was 12 games, so a little bit different. But we checked out the day 1, right? After 6 games, which, of course, was that halfway point. And since we're at that point now, I think it would be very, very relevant to talk about it. Whoever was at the top of the leaderboard, it still switched up very much so after we played out the second half of the competition. So I really do feel like there's still so much that could happen.
Yeah, and look, again, as much as a lot of these players very much need the break, they need some time to cool down and relax. It could be a bit of a heat check for Mira and Cooper, right? They might come back, sit down, and they're not really feeling as hot as they once were, right? So hopefully it doesn't mess up their momentum and their flow.
You talk about momentum, we got to slow things down. We are halfway through the competition, and what I want to see is a halftime show. Who better to prepare us than Monster D-Face?
Well, listen up, Fortnite fam. I don't want to completely slow things down. I just want to change things up. We've had a lot of gameplay, but now we're going to introduce some music here for the halftime show. Coming all the way in from California, we have something very special in store for you here, Copenhagen. DJ, producer, musician extraordinaire, 2 Friends has something never before heard or seen in store for you all here. That's right, it's a very special Fortnite show, one that's going to be fun and exciting. So if you're down on the floor, get ready to stand up, enjoy yourself. If you're up here inside the stands, I mean, enjoy it. And if you're at home, don't forget, turn the music up. Here we have it, though. We're going to jump down to the floor. Things are already dimming out, and then we get to see what's in store for us.
Fortnite, how we feeling, baby? We're 2 Friends just on to with y'all tonight. Y'all ready to do a big with us? Make some noise! I need all y'all right here. Put them hands in the sky. Put them up, put them up, put them up. Show me what we got. Come on! Fortnite, let's keep it going strong right here. Follow us on this one.
Got a lot of love, little bit less money. 22 more charming. Besides you, met a couple friends, but I never really see them. Cause I don't really feel them. They don't look like you. You've been on my mind, 9 to 5 and then 5 to 9, yeah. Up the whole night, dreaming when I'm near your body. I can't shut my eyes with you in my bed, even when I'm tired. The PM be turning to AM and I couldn't rest if you
do it like this.
What's up? I'm wide awake but never sleeping now. Can't close my eyes around you, but it's cool. Cause I be looking at you.
Y'all ready to go a little bit harder right now?
Looking at you.
Fortnite, show me what we got.
What's poppin'? Brand new whip, just hopped in. I got options. I can pass that like Stockton. Just joshing. We spend this holiday locking. My body got rid of the toxin. Sports in the top hat. I can put the ball in the end zone, put it back. End zone. This sound like an intro jet song. Give me that tempo. So cool, get food. So her, don't let her friends know. In the building, I move like a dime. Eating fettuccine or Vincenzo.
Y'all will know this next one. Let me hear you guys sing it with us.
Yellow diamonds in the light. I was standing side by side as a shadow crosses mine. What it takes to come alive. It's the way I'm feeling, I just can't deny.
Scream!
We found love in a hopeless place. 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 We found love in a hopeless place.
Fortnite, let me see all y'all losing right now. Run it back, baby! Put them hands in the sky! Put them up! Put them up!
مو كثير تلميحة. خوش تمثيل تومو هما يعني تلميحة تاع سيزون جي.
Fortnite, make some noise for Casey on the saxophone!
يا رب يعمل تلميحة.
It's been a long time since I've seen your face. We both got older, still we haven't changed.
بحسها تلميحة ما نعرفش عليش.
Promises we made. I'd always love you even miles away. Oh, we never found the perfect time or place.
كيفاش يعمل؟
Doesn't mean we won't find it some way. You in my sweater in the pouring rain. I think I love you more than yesterday. Hold your breath, darling, swim to shore. I'll tread the water in that heart of yours. And when it storms, we'll sail right through the waves. I love you more than yesterday.
Yesterday. Yesterday معناه امبارح.
Let me see all y'all got. 1, 2, 3.
Yesterday. لحظة. يدو اصبحون yesterday يعني شو يعني الماضي ولا المستقبل yesterday يعني بسرعة ارجوك جاوبني شوفها بسرعة. yesterday قال برقين برقين تلميح هذه انه نحسها تلميح هذيك تلميح على البركيد والبحر والغيوم والعرس شنو. تو فريندلي تو نهار شناي ما فهمتيش الكلمة الأخرى ما شاء الله المشفى في وجني راكم مدار الإنجليزيين. قعدوا ساعتين كاملين ساعة هما يغنيوا. عامني فات جيت المحة في السبورة هذيا نتذكرها. اطلعوا كوزين اطلعوا. تلميح تلميح تو نومو تلميح نومو تو تلميح هذيك مسمنها. ما امبوسيبل هذايا تشويق. نشوف الانستغرام والله. يا دحوم وش اللي ما فهمت بالله وش فيك yesterday yesterday
Fortnite, thank you guys. We're two friends. Love you.
هكا هو يعطونا التلميحة.
Blown. I was just watching the halftime show on the screen. We were having a bop outside with the rest of the Fortnite team. Yes, I know no one has referred to it as a bop for about 30 years, Kelly.
Well, to age us even more, when Mr. Brightside came on, all of the 30-year-olds in the talent show were going crazy, and then anyone younger than that pretty much didn't know what was going on.
Gold star goes to Zeke. Zeke has got some moves. Zeke literally looked like an in-game character doing the dance moves. I thought he was going to bring out the floss at one moment. I was like, Zeke, that is so
I think he did. I think he actually did a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit.
That's how much he loves Fortnite.
It's true.
Well, how would you describe your moves?
Terrible. That's one word.
Yeah, I was kind of like, I was like a fist pump, little groove on the heel, a little groove on the heel. Can I say my MVP from that performance?
يا ربي حد
With
يمشي.
the sax.
Oh my gosh, how could you not?
And that was live. That wasn't a pre-recorded guy just sax syncing. I don't know what the saxophone equivalent of lip syncing is. He's like literally walking down a stair. I find it so hard to walk down the stairs of the main stage, let alone some narrow stage steps while playing a saxophone, Kelly.
Oh, as soon as the two friends guys jumped up there, I got scared. I didn't know if they had any harnesses on. Is it one friend? Is that what you would call singular of the two friends?
That's when one of the friends misses the jump, but he didn't. He's been working on those glutes. I literally need to know his exercise routine because he came out and he jumped, and that's when my mind started to be blown to the point where I don't think I have any brain cells left because literally that performance has made me lose all thought because it was so awesome.
I mean, the drummers were also incredible.
Yes, they were. Yes,
Great job, you guys. Thank you.
Dancers, everything was thrown at this one, and now our players are going to throw everything at these last three games. Do you like the segue?
That was good. That was really good.
So much. Been working on it.
3 games left, and there is obviously a few duos that we have to talk about that are on the top of the leaderboard.
Yeah, there are. Do you think that anyone is going to overtake Cooper Mira? Because they are 100 points clear and they're so consistent in getting to those end games.
I mean, not only do they have the highest amount of eliminations right now, but they also have the highest average placement. But you can't ignore Pixie and Cheatin, who, for the first time since the FNCS World Cup, where we had Aqua and Nyrox get back-to-back VRs. They are the first duo to do it again. So it has been years since we've seen that. That is an incredible accomplishment. So there's definitely a chance for that duo there.
Well, I can't wait to see what the desk has to say, but I also hope that Zeke is going to show you guys some of his moves.
No. Listen, Frankie, you're not going to bait me into that, okay? Look, those moves are way too powerful, okay? But, man, that was a crazy set by a DJ Producer 2 friend. With Frankie, when Casey on the sax came out, I was just not ready. Like, I was like, yeah, this is amazing, and that just dropped like crazy. That was so much fun.
It's so fun being in here, right? Because we're standing up here on the desk, and the whole ground is like shaking as this is going on as well. And then the flames start going off, and it's like, whoa. Why can we actually feel the heat from those waves?
I want to keep the party going, bro. I don't want to stop. Let's just keep it going. Tell them to come back out, man. We can keep it going,
Just keep going while we continue the competition. Just let it run raw. And of course, I don't know if y'all saw, they had the wristbands. So as they're changing the songs as well, it's just the arena lighting up kind of in like tandem with the songs. Man, that was amazing. Thank you so much. DJ Producer 2 friends, we appreciate y'all. Casey on the sax, we became best friends.
The GOAT.
The GOAT. Now, as we kind of get ready here, we have some time before we jump back into the game. The players are kind of taking a bit. They're stepping back, they're getting some food, talking with whoever they need to talk to, and focusing their minds. Let's take a look at the stats by the numbers. Let's take a look at how things are kind of going here in the grand finals. When we take a look at the numbers for most eliminations, you can see Cooper and Miro. No surprise, currently sitting in first place, right behind him, Pixie and Cheat.
Yeah, I mean, you know, first and second place, obviously eliminations are very, very important. But Peterbot and Bilo with 12 sneaking up there for me. I feel like they just started to warm up in game number 3. There we saw Peterbot, the mechanics were coming out, and that's what he's known for, by the way. So if that can continue that momentum, they might be flying up the leaderboard.
Yeah, it feels like a blast from the past from those guys, right? Obviously, back when they won an FNCS many seasons ago, that's the kind of thing we saw from them so often, right? Popping off high elim games, and it's good to see them getting in on the action today.
I was curious to kind of get your thoughts. So how do we slow down Miro and Cooper right now? Are they contested? Because it seems right now like they're uncontested there, or if they are, they're just winning off every spawn. But they are so dangerously far ahead right now.
No, I mean, seriously, what it comes down to is making mistakes out of them. And literally game number 3 was that, right? They made a mistake. They had so many things to come back from in that game. I mean, positionally, right? They were pretty much out to the west side of the zone. They had no builds. Somehow finding the refreshes in that game tells me that they are even ready for those situations that are tough, especially in Fortnite competitive, to overcome, which just means that it might be hard to stop that Cooper Miro train.
Yeah, I think the one interesting for me, no matter how many games we play, no matter how deep we are into this competition, if Thomas actually walks out, the crowd are going to make noise. And that's what just happened a second ago. He's clearly back from his break, and they're all, you know, on top of the world. It'd be good to see those guys start to get in on the action a bit more. You see Malibuka getting ready there, Thomas locked in, focused. These off-spawn battles against Kanada and Aegis, they've been going so back and forth.
Yeah.
Man. Mentally, it must be tough, because even when you win, you know this might be the only opportunity you get to actually play out a game, and there's even more pressure that gets added with that.
Yeah, and here we kind of turn attention from 11th down to 20th. I want to highlight 17th place Hen and Vasquez. We've seen double Rift Island claims. You can see the 30 points. The 30 points, just under half of their total points from Rift Island. And it's still just so crazy to me. More duos aren't just sending it. Because actually yesterday we saw a moment where there was like 4 duos that landed on it, and they're like, okay, look, you got here. Went for it.
Yeah, and I actually saw some respect there in game number 3, right? We saw Datus and Stain, right? They were right under the Rift Island spawn, and we were like, oh look, they're probably going to get it, and then they just didn't go up for it. And I really feel like they were in the position to do so. Still, a lot of these teams not willing to go for it.
Yeah, it's weird, right? Because like you said, they went from showing so much respect there for not going for it, and the next game they
نمشي صلي ويجي يعني حد ما نتشرد نمشي.
So clearly, you know, where they choose to give and not give respect is a bit different, and it depends on who it really is. I'd like to see some more teams get involved in that Rift Island gambit, right? I think, again, for a team to have claimed it twice now in Hen and Vasquez, you can't be letting that happen if you're the rest of the lobby, right? If they now start to, you know, put on better performances to add to those Rift Island points, then you start looking at a team that can start to contend.
Okay, I like it. Let's take a look at the numbers for Rift Island. So obviously we highlighted them, Hen and Vasquez, 30 points. Okay, so Batman, Bugha, and Rapid, we did see that not that long ago. And then remember, we've got the Forecast Towers being 3 points each. So Cammy and Seti and Bryce and Chubbs have also claimed 2 respectively. So, and I think the other thing we want to kind of, it's not necessarily gone under the wayside, but that forecast can be so powerful for a duo. I wonder if that's why Seti and Cammy, though they've kind of been in somewhat shambles situations, have still played so well.
Yeah, for sure. I think you look at the game played without Forecast, and they're already a team that positionally is just going to dominate everybody else. Like, they're going to be in good positions, and they're going to make you think, how on earth did they know where to go, right? How did they maneuver their way into the spot? You give them the forecast, how you give them the intel, the insight beforehand, and it's like, yeah, they're just always going to be in a good spot. And even though the performances, maybe there's a bit going wrong in terms of the fighting ability and where they're on the same page there in box fights, they're still going to make it deep into games with those Forecast Towers.
Yeah, and if we think about the strength of Frenzy as it stands right now, of course, it is going to be the fact that it is so close to that Forecast Tower. So the fact that they're kind of like splitting their drop spot right now, I really think it's in favor of them. And, you know, we're talking about how, you know, we really don't think that they've had a Cammy, Seti-esque game yet. That Forecast Tower has to help them out in that category so much.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm getting word. As much as I enjoyed that halftime show, games are ready to go. Let's send it up to our casters. This is game number 4 of the FNCS Global Championship.
That's right, we're up here. We have Taco joining us right now to, of course, close out the remainder of the day. We already know it's getting intense. Players did have a short break, though.
The very first 3 games today have done nothing except deliver action after action after action. So many insane moments, and we're here to get plenty more because game number 4 is ready to go.
Let's get right back into it. Game number 4 is here, and it is time to take our way into the Fortnite world. Let's jump off this bus. Let's see what's in store for us.
And that's the thing, Monsters. We've already seen so many of those 50-50 skirmishes, particularly this one here at the racetrack. You can already see these players lighting up the sky. Kanata, Azers, Malabuka, and Thomas. It's been a relatively even split so far, but this is the time. Thomas and Malabuka need this, but it's Azers to touch down first.
The game-defining moment right here. Malabuka's already set on the backside, pinned between two sides. Azers gets the first one. Kanata gets the follow-up. Thomas is hurt, and the finish. But there's another team here, and they get completely taken out, possibly to the hands of Iamzo and Rise, who were just next door.
Spinks actually with the final elimination shots there, and that's part of the risk as well. With some of those early third-party contests, it's just such easy pickings.
The sad part about that is Kanata has won that drop now more times than Thomas, HD, and Malabuka. So Kanata and Azers also had equal amount of time to run up the points on the scoreboard, and they were doing it. Finally finding their stride. That's going to be a huge setback for everyone here. But entertainment for us nonetheless. We get to jump in now with Clement and Kaizen, who already have an elimination. If Grols is by himself, then he's having to run
off of the distance as well. Seems as though Pars gonna meet an early demise. Baka tried doing his best to recover, but it's just not enough. Giannis and Reason going to collect the wins, and that's primarily just them getting the luxury of being able to continue farming out resources, materials. But we can take a look back at the action that we didn't get a chance to witness the first time around. Reason with a nice drop down from the overhead view. Baka just unable to find those finalizing shots. It's unfortunate, but when you're in those 2 versus 1 situations, it's hard to come out on top.
It makes you wonder if Reason and Giannis didn't, come out of the lower bracket. Baka and Pars had such a great upper bracket day 1 just to qualify here, and today have been put on stalemate, put on ice all day long, just no room to warm up. Talking about teams that haven't quite had room. Our OCE duo here, Worthy in a 1v2, but no, Teeny claps back and finishes the deal, gets his elimination points, gets the credit, and finishes it off when it matters.
Worthy, though, making sure to not go down without a fight. At least a minor setback there for Misha and Teeny. But the revive will definitely be a success. Decent amount of action sprinkled across the north side of the map so far. And here, one more time, Teeny, Misha, they've got Benign and Moneymaker in their sights, but at least for right now, Teeny and Misha, after that last little engagement with Worthy, they're gonna take a second to recuperate in the process before actually looking to challenge against Benign and Moneymaker.
Back on over though, Murstache, Tayson in the battle here. Tayson playing the high ground, allowing Murstache to really lead the pace down low. This is the first time we've seen them rotate this south early. And Slappy trying to really force the fight on Trulix, but the timing must have felt good to them because Chicho and Trulix were also fighting at this drop. This has been a triple contest area, and Thoric and Bolts are also looking to potentially swing their way in. But no, not this time.
Snazy and Podesai, though, you can always tell the moment that they come up on the screen, because the French community here in the arena always making sure to let themselves be known for their favorites. Podesai lying in wait, though. Accident had absolutely no idea for what was waiting right around the corner here. A nice pickoff, though, for Podesai and Snazy. Curious to see what they choose to do, though, with that knock. High likelihood that they look for that strat they've been trying to repeat, where they can farm some damage.
They've done it, though. They've continued to, if they can't get to a mushroom, they're using med mist, they're using everything in their power. We love the let's go Snazy cheer and chant there as well. Hey, if you were to join in on any of those you want to celebrate with, that's what this is all about. Karmi set up on high ground, looking solid, scented, and polarized. Need to find their footing here. Can they do it? We've only seen 3 games. There's 3 more games in this finals, grand finals run up. So anything is possible. As quickly as you flew up, you can come down, or there's room for others to come and join you at the top.
Right now, Senate, he's trying to spread his wings here up against Gab0 and Polarized to back him up. Not in the sights. But right now, Polarize. Senta taking their time before making the attack. Want to make sure that most of these edits actually belong to them before fully pushing in. How many times have we seen players run into the wrong box after all? Nice peek of the shoulder there for Polarize. But it seems as though more could be joining the fray. These guys aren't able to find it soon enough. Nutty, F-Zero applies some decent pressure, but again, keep in mind, Muzz and Paper, they seem to close in.
I was just about to say, what is happening right now? You got Muzz and Paper just saying, hey, dog, y'all want to fight down here? Y'all want a clean fight? Well,
hey,
guess what?
You guys can fight.
We're not going to allow that to happen. They come in and put some shots down, and again, with that visual sound cue, everyone here knows for sure there's a team lurking. It's not worth it. Senta and Polarize make the rotate out. We might see some NA on NA action here. Agent Paper trying to set up right now. You say, all right, we'll take your scraps. Now they might be looking to fight Nutty and GapZero here.
But the fact that a simple introduction of another party to your initial skirmish, and that's enough to disperse the engagement altogether, because you can just tell, Senta Polarize, they recognize how much they need these points. Some of these teams looking to hit a second win of sorts after that halftime point.
And also just the respect they have for the opponents here. You really have to. Let's not forget, for Match 4 Grand Finals, to get this far into the tournament stage, you had to qualify based off your performance all year long, and then qualify for the weekend, the most difficult and the most competitive of formats we've seen so far for the Fortnite community. Edgy's on the move, Duke's on the move. More action unfolding on the other side, though. We jump back into it. Podesai and Snazy continue looking to strike here on the opponents in the vicinity. They allow for the pickup, it seems.
Oh, this could be dirty, though, from Podesai and Snazy, depending on how they actually look to play things out. Exodus just having gotten an opportunity to rejoin and just quickly set back again to the elimination process. It's going to be in vain here, unfortunately, for his streak to continue. But Snazy and Podesai, they still got to work their way from deep outside of the zone. Granted, it is early enough that the tick damage isn't really anything to be all too concerned about, but you don't want to find yourself too far outside of proper positioning where some of these other teams might be towered up.
Yeah, they're going to be all right. They're going to be fine. They have the surge now to back it up. What a sneaky little play for Peterbot now. Byla, they need to score some points too if they want to jump back into that top 5 conversation, because up top we have Cooper and Miro potentially starting to run away train with no breaks. Let's watch it back though. We jumped away from Paper for a moment. It seems like as things start to ease up, they come on in, they catch a down body, and Paper was quick on it. And you know he's feeling good about that one. That was an excellent elimination and a great timed fight.
And if you're Nutty and GapZero in that instance, almost can't fault them for wanting to commit. Seemed as though he was nearly through that revive process, just a little bit longer, and he might have been able to make a huge turnaround play there. But Cammy, just inside of Frenzy Fields, finding some nice shots with that twin mag, and that's going to be a decent collection of surge tag damage for the time being. Relatively split right now from Cammy. Seems as though both of them trying to prioritize different directions, but some of these teams definitely encountering some issues running alongside the edge of Storm. It seems as though other teams are already taking note of the way that the zones are starting to pool and just doing their best to try and control the flow of the lobby.
Yeah, and it's not just Noxy and Crisp here who have a problem. The team in front of them are in the fight. These are two of Asia's best going head-to-head. Datus and Stain, Zagu, and Peppo Clip down low. The FNCS champions of the Asia region have been flexing on the competition, but Seti and Cammy have been keeping them cool as they have been the kings of Frenzy so far. The battles for the weather station have been very evident in this game now. This is that back half strategy we talked about, showing you how many teams want to try to increase their odds.
Well, think about it. Zagu and Peppo, I distinctly remember a content piece from yesterday where they specifically stated, we will trade our lives in order to secure these forecast towers, because that is just how impactful having every single visualization of future zones can be. It does make a massive difference when teams are able to control it. And right now, Giannis, Reason, they're trying to control what's happening between themselves. Axe Force, Rabab. But it's a lull in the action because other teams just keep taking note of the action.
Battle of the Germans here. Already 2 eliminations for Janus. Showing that they had success at the Slappy Shores. Axe Force and Robot Kebab definitely a strong 2. But then you have Pixie and Cheaton just nearby, ever lurking. Hungry for more points, already on 2 victories. We were wondering how have they done it. It's just timing. Their timing has been impeccable. If they can time this battle correctly, they'll be right there, earning themselves a good number of points. But no, things slow down. The weapons cache might just go to this team here of Axe Force and Robot.
Could be massive, though, for Pixie and Chi when you consider that their drop is super far north on the map in general. Ultimately,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's all it takes.
He's having a hard time. He's been rebooted like 3 times this game already and found by different duos at different stages. What a difficult time it has been.
It would have been a lot more menacing, though, if it was Photosai and Snazy somehow. At least it's a different duo this time. But Seti, sure to make sure that Exodus is not going to be able to get revived. He's trying to pressure in as quickly as possible. Does not want to let this happen. Exodus, though, actually managed to get back up on his feet. Another attempt. Success here for Striker as he continues to do everything in his power to ensure that he gets to play out this match as a duo.
At this point, just let him be. He deserves to stay alive right here. Seti and Cam are going to take this rock and go ahead and get as much distance as possible. Should be just fine to go ahead and get to the zone, but no strangers, Cammy and Seti, to playing deep zone. We've seen it just about the bulk of the games on the day. Meanwhile, Miro and Cooper have continued to have success in the middle. Let's catch up with these teams. Let's catch up with what's going on with Vivid.
All of the games so far throughout the day have featured some very early aggression, but that is not the case for Cooper and Miro, right? They're just landing over at Rumble Ruins all alone. And honestly, one of the best things about this POI is going to be that Temple Vault. So much loot in one spot to make sure that they can quickly get the loadouts that is needed. And the other thing good about this POI is that it is centrally located on the map, so they can get some Storm Surge and some early rotations out.
Thanks so much, Vivid. It's definitely clear that their drop at that Rumble Ruins POI is certainly making a pretty impactful mark on their run so far today. And what's even crazier still is when you think about the fact that Miro quite literally has more FNCS title wins, being 5 over Cooper's finals appearances. This is only Cooper's 4th finals appearance, and yet here they are, game number 4, leading the lobby on that first place in the leaderboard.
Well, with Vico and Pink on this Rift Island, they're looking to lick their lips, rub their hands together, and pray for something good right now. That's 15 points their way, but they're going to have to fight for it. Moneymaker, Fnaujin understand that they have to come back and make a big turn, a big stride up the standings, and that's why the battle for the Rift Island checkpoint is going to be important here. Vico and Pink would love to secure this right now, though. It would really make the difference.
It's 15 points. The fact that Hen and Vasquez have managed to secure 2 of these Rift Island objective capture points is insanity because it stacks so quickly. But Cooper, Miro, they seem to have other intentions, and the game is afoot here for these two as they continue trying to see whether or not they can close in on any of these other teams surrounding the Rift Island that might be a little bit more distracted with each other still.
Well, it's going to get pretty interesting. We have 1st, 3rd, and 4th place all nearby. Make that 5th place as well, because Vaniac and Carby are under the Rift Island, so a lot of our very important performing duos so far just to hit here. The first, Tina and Misha. They've had a good game so far. They finally found their footing here, but they're going against Pink and Vico, who were just warmed up after the first 3. Already, though, what can they do?
Pink's got to be careful, though. Pink and Nico don't want to wind up as the team being sandwiched with so much commotion happening here at the Rift Island. Still trying to break through these wall edits from Misha and Teeny. But capture point, it's been claimed. Vico and Pink, that is a massive 15 points bonus, regardless of what happens next for these two. But it seems as though they still want more. They've got the loot, but they want some elimination points to go with it.
Yeah, look at this. Now they have everything secured. A weapons upgrade as well. And look at all the other teams looking to scavenge what they can essentially from the Rift Island here nearby, but it might just be time to go for most. For Miro and Cooper, they're listening to all this go down. They have the material that they wanted from this low ground reservoir, and for them, that's a small victory in its own. It wasn't the checkpoint they wanted, that was too risky, but the material count was welcomed.
Little rocket ram on the exit there as well for Miro. I'm sure he's bound to get some decent utilization out of that. As things continue drawing up towards the north side, a lot of teams now starting to find their way into the zone, and a couple of teams still left over here at Brutal Bastion. It's a relatively large POI, and seeing all of these pre-established edits, it's got to put you on edge.
Vino's hurt, Tayson's hurt as well, but they did manage to find the elimination. Team Monaco on Monaco action, and now Rapid and Batman Booga jump in to try to put their touch on the take, and Vino and Queasy want nothing to do with it. They have to heal, they have to bounce back. They are having a difficult tournament run, as is Cold and Acorn, a lot of our favorite picks so far, struggling here. But that was just 3 games, right? All you have to do is play even better on the back 3. You can be very much in the competition, in the conversation.
I mean, we've seen just how impactful even 2 games can be.
Yeah.
And considering that we still have 2 games left to play after this one, would never want to count out Vino or Queasy in those sort of circumstances. Following up now on Iyamzo and Rise. Just kind of surveying the area right now. So many varying levels of elevation up here towards the north side of the map. Very easy to lose track of some of these teams that might be trying to dip down just a little bit behind some of these icebergs. But Rise seems as though he's got at least one party in his sights. Just behind him though, Cheatin' and Pixie, but it's Misha and Teeny. They have been on an uphill battle the entire match so far, it would seem. And it's only gonna get all the more difficult with Teeny having just been knocked. Pink and Vico pushing in. They want these double eliminations secured. The points would make such a massive difference. And it's gonna be Vico with the final charge in. A couple of sharp tooth shots is all it takes. That's 8 points secured.
Great job as well, finding the angles there, closing the elimination set. That's gonna put them up in a sweet spot, but now Podesai has to play this one out by himself. He's gonna need the support of his community here for sure, because with only a rocket ram and crash pads for utility and no heals, it's gonna be pretty tough, but somehow he is above the surge. Here it is, he charges it up. Off he flies, out he goes. Shalom and NK Papa. This could be a great team to attack. They're hurt. He gets in, he grabs the wall, but no, slips out the backside. Little does he know, he can absolutely finish them off, and they need a set of eliminations. They need a pair of damage. Podesai changes things around. Here's the damage coming in. Gets the finish, no! Couldn't conclude. More tags from the side. Take him out. Papa will fall here, potentially, if he can't find a little more damage before the zone closes. It's Vico who's in front of him.
You can tell MK Papa wants to turn around, but he knows he's got to keep pushing forward, and Vico finds him for even a second. The zip line at this point.
Wow.
With 8 HP, and he goes across unscathed. That is incredible.
Nice.
Coned up from...
No way!
Entirely the turn and burn, though, from NK Papa. It's Basque on the retreat.
NK Papa, Asia's last hope of the top 10 right there. For now, taken out and finished, but not before putting up a crazy fight against top 5's Vasquez. But hold up. Now we get to see this. Miro and Cooper starting to find their footing again. They need to fight for it. This is the second game now. Game 3, we saw very much similar circumstances where they came into the game, and the mid-game was such a struggle. Material count, health-wise, just in general, very, very scrappy duo. They do find a set of refreshers there. Meanwhile, Seti and Cammy, complete different story. We've already know they play deep out of the storm line, but they're looking pretty fine right now. It's gonna be natural high ground. This is looking like good old early chapter days.
Cammy and Seti have definitely found a decent spot just on the side of the mountain north of Brutal Bastion, but they're not the only ones looking this direction. Uga and Threats, box just beneath them. A lot of teams kind of surrounding the edges here. Peterbot and Byla, though, they're trying to put those mechs to work. Byla gonna force his way in, just now getting barely above the surge damage threshold, but Peterbot, we've been watching him do it all day long. The elimination onto Thoric, the revive onto his teammate, and bolts will fall as well. That's the kind of refresh that Peterbot and Byla were hoping for.
This is what Peterbot does right here. This is what he does best. Solo play by himself when it comes down to clutching up, and he's got that charge. This thing hurts, it hits hard. He can finish the player off with one charge up. It's Axe Force, though. Will he become a victim of Peterbot? But no. On his first, Peterbot has to dig into his heels now. Decides, hey, I gotta get out of here. Breaks through everyone's build. Why not just cause chaos and send players flying in the process? Give it a moment. Give it a moment. You might find elimination, and Axe Force gets one.
Sphinx probably has no
فرح
idea
تليفون.
what just hit him. Between Axe Force and Peterbot, those were some of the most destructive rocket
خليني أقرأ لك
rounds
يوسف
that
لأني
we've
دوشت.
seen all day today. But Axe Force putting himself into some very strong positioning for the time being as a solo. It's so common to see players try to move from that very backside of the zone, but Cheatin as well, seemingly the same idea here. He's just trying to wait for everybody else to start moving first, but when you're hanging just above the damage threshold, some pressure is bound to start building up.
Well, placement points have been given out, and finally now we start to see someone inside the top 5 fall. For Vico in pink, that was a worst case scenario as they were just there at the placement point threshold. Falls to the hands of the Brazilian duo, Kitos and PH Zin. For Seti, for Cammy, they've elevated themselves enough, recognizing that low ground was too dangerous, and they're playing a vertical box here. For Miro, for Cooper, they're getting to the front side of zone. They're on the hunt right now. Miro loses him, though, for a second. A lot going on around him.
Miro trying to make sure that his feet are protected. How many times have we seen players shooting just underneath some of these box edits and walls that are made? The smallest of gaps towards the bottom of them, but Cheatin, again, as a solo, still finding a way to keep moving forward, and this is just so paramount for Cheatin and Pixie's run. They've got to do everything in their power to stay as close as possible, hot on the heels of Cooper and Miro, and Cheatin just looking like he keeps finding moments to find that breath of relief.
And just what an incredible story for Pixie and Cheatin. Jumping in, this opportunity coming in for final moments, so making the best of it now. Think about it. If they fall now, you give Cooper and Miro potential runway that no one can close the gap on. It is getting that close right now. Mixon, Blaha, though, high ground is theirs. They've had it since the mountaintop, the first to claim it. Have not looked back since. Still have crash pads and more to work with.
Very curious, though, to see what exactly is going to happen with these moving zones going forward, though. Things could be pretty vicious considering the landscape that these players are dealing with. Going up alongside the mountain, Cheatin might be able to acquire an elimination in the process. Knock onto the Strokey there. Will be forced to use his legendary Slurp Juice. That does buy him a little bit of time here. Still has 3 charges left in that Rocket Ram as well. He's gonna make sure to utilize at least one of them. Again, just more builds being completely ripped through here.
Front side of zone is where he finds something. No, he slips off the mount. He's got to be very careful here as it bounces back. So unfortunate. It was so close to being perfect, but instead put himself in a bad position. Another player above him. He's going to have to charge it up in no time. Vino finds him there, and Cooper and Miro now have a chance to keep running away with this here. The opportunity, and they've taken full advantage of it on high ground. Vino and Queasy want to make a comeback, but so does Cammy and Seti. Another battle for height ensues here. Vino and Queasy don't get it for free.
Have to be careful here on the descent, though, with Neno on that Rocket Ram. Queasy gonna utilize some of the last of his splashes. Still has 2 remaining just in case. Right now, it's all about the mobility. Soaring sprints keeping him in the air. Possibly a little bit longer than he is intending, but Miro dropping down to low ground, finding that elimination onto Vanyak. And now it's gonna be Mr. Savage as well, alongside of Yamzo, pushing all along the sides here. But Miro and Cooper, they're still managing to stay together, at least for the time being. Cooper, though, completely out of the team. But that's the knock that
No!
they needed.
He needed the finish to stay alive there, and Cooper sacrificed himself, but it wasn't enough. Meanwhile, Seti, Cammy versus Queasy Vino on the high ground. Seti's already done enough to take one down, but Cammy's hurt too. Vino's hurt too. It's a back and forth. We may not think there's a rivalry here, but there sure is bad blood. Seti on fire, still going, but Cammy has something to say about it. Vino shuts that down.
Cammy, though, finally gonna get put into the dirt, though not by who we were suspecting. It's Bryce and it's Chubbs controlling the high ground now. Vino doing what he can from below. Cole still trying to hang on, but it's gonna be Bryce, it's gonna be Chubbs as they take another victory royale on the weekend.
From the lower bracket, fighting their way through it to the grand final stage, they have picked up a victory royale, and they have continued to win over this weekend. They are rising stars.
Bryce, the sight of you winning a victory royale is going to be one of the most enduring memories of this entire event for me, because every time you guys have success in the lobby, you just can't believe how good you are. What does it feel like to take a second victory royale in Copenhagen?
It feels amazing. It's exciting.
And what did you guys discuss in the halftime break? Because you needed the points desperately, and now you're in 4th on the leaderboard.
We got this. We're better than everybody here.
Is that literally the conversation you had?
Yeah.
Now, I know that this is a first time on LAN for you, Bryce. What about you, Chubbs? How much experience have you been able to bring to the stage this weekend?
Not much, but our skill is there, so we're here to win.
Is that what it's all about, just the skill?
Yes, that's it.
So tell me about your early games then, because that seems to be the trend here. The teams that are uncontested, that can just mat up and get their resources ready, seem to be doing the best right now. Are you finding yourself caught in early fights?
Only last game. This game, we're just playing how we normally play, get Surge.
So what happens then if someone comes to you to try and get that Surge?
We're better than them, we'll just kill them.
Do you believe this, Bryce? Do you believe in yourself now after you've had so many epic moments here?
I do. I think we could win.
And do you believe in this man, Chubbs?
I do.
Amazing. Well, I'm starting to believe in the two of you too. Thank you so much, guys. Congratulations, everyone, Bryce and Chubbs!
Bryce and Chubbs showing a lot of restraint, right? They could be going crazy, they could be popping off, but no, they're focused. They know there's only 2 games left to go. Now with this lead, with this victory royale and the eliminations as well, they could make a run of it. Now, very quickly, before we even get going, Kelly Link, Mini Miner, welcome to the analyst desk. Okay, now hit me.
I mean, wow. This is something that we have seen from this duo this weekend. They have got victory royales in the previous rounds. And we've just seen it again. I think there's a few question marks about whether they could do it on the big stage. I mean, Frankie mentioned it. Maybe the lack of experience compared to some of the other duos in the lobby. But they're not showing any nerves at the moment. They're on top.
No, and they were on top of that mountain as well.
Yeah.
Once we saw Mixon drop down from there. We also saw Vino, Queasy, Seti, and Cammy all fighting for that high ground.
Cold.
And when you have the mountain there, it is so important to be able to grab that high ground because it is so difficult to be able to recover from the mid and low ground. And we saw that from the likes of Miro and Cooper. Once that zone does move, it's a lot more difficult to be able to rotate around the high ground. So big shout outs to our duo, Chubbs and Bryce right there, going up 16 placement points. But Cooper and Miro, Pixie and Cheatin' not moving anywhere.
Yeah, I want to come back to them first. Cammy and Seti, you kind of highlighted them there. We saw them, we saw Cole, we saw Vino and Queasy. My gosh, that end game was a who's who. Didn't matter where you were looking, you're like, I know all of these things. But I love here, you can just tell, if you really pay attention to the way Cammy and Seti play, when Queasy and Veno are close by and they're kind of like interacting, the way that Seti and Cammy, there's like this tiny little change. It's almost like now they're on the hunt. They can smell the blood in the water. They're like, no, you're close by? Okay, we switch it on.
Yeah, they definitely know. I mean, when you got 2 of the best teams in the entire world battling for height, it is an absolute spectacle to behold. That was such a good endgame from both those guys. Of course, making it to endgame is great to see for Veno and Queasy in particular as well. And of course, Cammy and Seti. These guys have had a little bit of a rough day today. I know you guys mentioned it on the desk earlier. They haven't actually had a good game. Hopefully, they can bring some better games as well because we know what this duo can do. And again, Kelly, that's just highlighting how they're not just a low ground team, they're not just a mid-ground team, they are willing and able to take high.
It's just so funny how many people are saying that they're having a rough day, but they're currently in third place.
Yeah.
So clearly, their rough game is my best day in the world. But Cammy and Seti, I really got to give a shout out to their aggression early on, going so deep in the storm to try and grab that remaining player before they were able to bring back up their teammate. However, they realized that once they did, they backed off and said that this isn't worth it. We don't want to get knocked down early because we want to make it to the end game, and they did just that.
And that's what they've been doing all day. They've been sitting inside of that storm. That's one of their strategies that we like to see from Cammy and Seti on this big stage. They're trying to get those heals, and particularly when the zone pulls north, of course, it goes into that jungle area where there are those shield mushrooms. Of course, there are those bounce little mushrooms as well that you can use to rotate. And we even saw them in that game using one of those kinetic rocks. And that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to stay back. They're trying to get out of fights and ensure that they can make it to endgame.
And another thing that they're doing pretty much every single game except for one is being able to get that forecast tower, which is obviously so beneficial. But we got to talk about the top team, Cooper and Miro. Miro just going absolutely crazy. And there was a moment in that game where I wasn't too sure how they were going to do. You can see here, 102 below storm surge there, and that is such a risky place to be this late in the game. But also, I mean, can we talk about the rocket ram in this game? I don't think I've ever seen so many builds destroyed in just 5 minutes.
Yeah, and I think the reason for that was just because of the natural elevation in the zone. The rocket ram is the item just to smash through so many builds and get to where you want to be without anything getting in the way, or at least breaking everything that could be getting in the way. This is a fantastic end game from Miro. And I know on the cast there, I think it was Monster, he mentioned that there was like 4 of our top 5 teams all surrounding the Rift Island. That's no mistake. That's no mistake. All those teams are identifying, Cooper and Miro being one of them, is that they don't have to go for Island and claim it to get all of the beneficiaries that offers. Of course, you can have so many of those maps that you can refarm. Easy high ground. There's a reason why all of these top teams are going for it, and Cooper and Miro are showing us how it's done.
I swear in the mid game, every single time that we go to Cooper and Miro, they are farming, and it has been every single game, and they are one of the best teams to be able to efficiently farm and use that mid game so that they can have a better late game, and that's what we're seeing.
And we've seen a lot of west zones today, right? Games 1 to 3, all on the west side. And of course, Miro and Cooper, they land on that west side. So for once, we're seeing a zone that isn't in their favor. And I was definitely asking a few questions about, I was like, if the zone doesn't pull their way, what are they going to do? Are they going to be able to sort of play to that standard? They've just answered all of my questions.
I mean, guys, Cooper and Miro, they have a lead. That's a 100-point lead. We have 2 games left to go. As long as they can stay out of their own heads, we could be looking at global champions. Now, we quickly wanted to highlight Veno. This man's is popping off right now. He is fragging out like crazy. Veno is doing what he does.
This is great to see from Veno, and I know their sort of game strategy and their game plan has been so masterfully crafted by his team, of course. BloodX, of course, on the coaching side of things, just doing things fantastically well. And Veno's been such a great player that's developed so much throughout his entire gameplay. He hasn't just been an all-out fragger, just jumping in boxes brainlessly. He has developed into such a fantastic, almost half IGL. He tends to take control in these end games, whilst also fragging out. What can't he do?
Well, especially when you're in a solo situation, you kind of have to IGL for yourself just a little bit because you know your situation the best, and that is exactly what we saw from Veno.
Guys, I want to break down so much. There's just so much happening in this game, but I'm getting word. Games are already ready. We're jumping back all up into the action. So casters, back on up to you.
Thank you guys so much. Always love getting that little bit of analytical insight during the analyst desk segments, but they're absolutely right. We have seen so many pop-off instances from so many different players, and I just want to see if they can keep the ball rolling here in game number 5.
Lucky for us, we can do just that. The battle bus is here. Let's go.
Match 5 بس دايما
Game number 5 of the grand finals is right before us. This is where we are now in the final stages of the tournament here. After this game, there will only be one more before we crown our champion. So here and now is the most important time of the rounds.
We're watching every single one of these teams begin to depart from the battle bus and look to drop their respective points. It's always funny too when you see the players in between those 3 segments, when they're pointing out which chest they actually want to prioritize on their loop paths depending on the bus pathway itself. But right now, Tom and winning it. Big shot. It sits there, but not even an indirect. Malabuka
والله نقرب. الحمد لله. لا ما جاني شيء لك. ما شيء.
Right foot creep,
everybody else here. And granted, the way they've managed to creep up in the leaderboards might just be backing them up on that.
الو
وينك يوت؟
هاني فوق بس كده دوشت.
لا حاجة.
ليه ما تخافش؟ هاتوا يجي يسيح. لا هاتوا يسيح شعري وهاتوا نجي. باي نحبك.
So Paper Muzz definitely reconsidering exactly how aggressively they want to approach this, especially given Paper's loadout. They might need this refresh monster because it'd be nice to have some extra materials this early on.
Yeah, Paper just uncertain, making the call. Hey, is there someone up there? I'm not sure. That slows everything down now. Muzz tries to scout for the information, but doesn't find anything from it. That right there will tell them, okay, Geras and Shari on the run. There was no one there. Little pump fake is going to save them. Now we jump over to Sphinx and Foyo. We saw Moneymaker chasing Larkspex, but look at that. It might have cost them now as they run right into the solid wall that is Sphinx and Foyo, already a team that has taken a victory out here today. So confidence is definitely there.
Moneymaker, though, won't be able to find a shot just yet. Cancel that. Seems as though he did sneak one up onto Sphinx. A little pause here now. Fnatic debating which augment he wants to select. Maybe if he can find one that might help him out in this circumstance. But Sphinx, they seem as though they might run in to finish. But Moneymaker had started. Warpex not too far off.
المهم انا بسكر. باي باي.